private airport runway in the backyard of a 35,000 square foot chateau, a 235-acre estate that generates millions of dollars a year just by opening its gates, and a construction dynasty that literally poured the concrete for the city's most iconic skyline. Most people think of Atlanta as just the capital of hip-hop or the home of reality TV stars. They are looking at the surface. Beneath the music videos and the red carpets lies a network of financial fortresses that make standard celebrity wealth look like pocket change. We are talking about the Black Mecca of the United States, a city where African American families have built generational empires in construction, infrastructure, global beauty, and massive-scale real estate. These are not just rich individuals. These are sovereign states operating within the city limits. They own the land, they own the banks, and they own the studios where Hollywood films its biggest blockbusters. We are tracking the property deeds, the government contracts, and the billion-dollar acquisitions to uncover the richest black families in Atlanta. Wait until you see number one. We are talking about a man who went from living in his car to owning a 330-acre former Army base, turning it into a production empire bigger than Warner Bros., Paramount, and Sony combined. Number 7. The Levett Family, the business of dignity. To understand the foundation of black wealth in Atlanta, you have to understand the businesses that serve the community from the cradle to the grave. And in Atlanta, when it comes to the final chapter of life, one name commands absolute respect and immense financial power: the Levett family. Gregory B. Levett Sr. and his wife Betty Levett are the titans behind Gregory B. Levett and Sons Funeral Homes and Crematory. Now, you might think a funeral home business is a modest, quiet operation. In Atlanta, you would be wrong. The Levetts have scaled the business of dignity into a multi-location empire that rivals major corporate chains. They established their first location in Scottsdale, Georgia, in 1980 with a 5,000 square foot facility. Today, that footprint has exploded. They operate 4 massive chapels across the metropolitan area, including a 9,000 square foot fortress in Decatur and a 12,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility in Gwinnett County. This is not just about handling services. It is about infrastructure wealth. Their facilities are designed with the opulence of 5-star hotels. We are talking about viewing rooms with custom furniture, large conference centers for family gatherings, and fleets of luxury vehicles. The family fleet includes pristine Rolls-Royces and Cadillacs, signaling a level of service that demands premium pricing. The wealth of the Levett family is built on a reputation for excellence. In the funeral industry, trust is the only currency that matters. When you serve over 2,200 families annually, as the Levetts do, you are operating a logistics and hospitality machine that generates tens of millions in revenue. Their influence extends far beyond their chapels. The family has donated over $1 million to various charities and organizations. Their philanthropic footprint is so large that the DeKalb Medical Center named their emergency department reception area after Gregory and Betty Levett. This is legacy wealth. It is the kind of wealth that is woven into the fabric of the community. They have handled the homegoing services for some of the most prominent figures in black culture, becoming the go-to institution for Atlanta's elite. The Levetts prove that in the Black Mecca, service industries can be scaled into dynastic fortunes if executed with perfection. They didn't just build a business, they built an institution that will stand for generations. But while the Levetts serve the local community, our next tycoon makes his fortune from the millions of travelers passing through the world's busiest airport. Number 6. Mack Wilbourn, the airport king. If you have ever flown through Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, the busiest airport on the planet, you have likely put money directly into the pocket of Mack Wilbourn. Mack Wilbourn is the owner and president of Mack Incorporated. He is the quiet giant of Atlanta's hospitality sector. While rappers and athletes flash cash on Instagram, Wilbourn collects passive income from the thousands of people who buy a chicken sandwich or a burger every single hour. His empire is built on franchise dominance. He operates franchises of major brands like Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen and Checkers within the airport. But these aren't just normal fast food spots. These are some of the highest grossing locations in the entire world. His 2 Popeyes locations in the airport have consistently ranked as the number 1 and number 2 busiest units in the entire global system. Think about the volume. Hartsfield-Jackson sees over 100 million passengers a year. Wilbourn has positioned his assets right in the flow of that human river. It is a masterclass in captive audience economics. Wilbourn started his journey in 1971 as one of the first minority McDonald's franchisees in the Atlanta area. He grew that initial success into a diversified portfolio that includes vending companies and partnerships in iconic Atlanta destinations. His personal wealth is reflected in his real estate. Public records have linked him to a residence in Midtown Atlanta with over 5,600 square feet of living space, valued at over $1.2 million. But his true asset is his influence. He has hosted President Barack Obama at his home. When you can invite the President of the United States over for dinner, you are operating on a different level of power. Wilbourn represents the B2B, business to business, side of Atlanta wealth. He isn't selling a lifestyle, he is selling efficiency. He proves that you don't need to invent a new product to become ultra wealthy. You just need to control the distribution channel where the people are. But while Mack Wilbourn controls the food, our next family controls the look of Black America. Number 5. The Bronner Family, the beauty dynasty. In Atlanta, the beauty industry is not just vanity, it is an economic engine worth billions. And sitting at the throne of this industry is the Bronner family. They are the owners of Bronner Bros, a private, family-owned company that is one of the largest African-American hair and skincare producers in the United States. Their story is the definition of generational wealth. It began in 1947 with Dr. Nathaniel H. Bronner Sr. and his brother Arthur E. Bronner Sr. They started teaching cosmetology at a local YMCA. Today, the second generation, led by Bernard Bronner and his brothers, controls an empire that exports products around the globe. But their real cash cow is the Bronner Brothers International Beauty Show. This is not just a trade show, it is the Super Bowl of the hair industry. Held at the massive Georgia World Congress Center, it attracts between 40,000 and 70,000 hairstylists, barbers, and beauty experts from around the world. The economic impact of this single event is estimated to be approximately $60 million for the city of Atlanta. The family monetizes every aspect of this ecosystem. They own the product lines, BB African Royale, Tropical Roots, that the stylists use. They own the magazine, UPSCALE magazine, that dictates the trends. And they own the event where the industry gathers to spend money. This is vertical integration at its finest. Their wealth allows them to live lives of immense comfort and influence. The family is deeply embedded in the religious community as well, with Bishop Dale C. Bronner leading the Word of Faith Family Worship Cathedral, a mega church with thousands of members. This connection between business and faith is a pillar of the Atlanta elite structure. The Bronner family has navigated decades of change, from the Jim Crow era to the digital age, without losing control of their company. They have resisted buyouts and takeovers to keep the wealth within the family bloodline. They prove that owning the culture, specifically the unique beauty standards and needs of the Black community, is one of the most lucrative positions in the market. But while the Bronners focus on beauty, our next tycoon is focused on rebuilding the very earth beneath Atlanta's feet. Number 4. Egbert Perry, the urban architect. Do not confuse him with Tyler Perry. Egbert L.J. Perry is a tycoon in his own right, a man whose wealth is written in concrete, steel, and the skyline of the city. Egbert Perry is the chairman and CEO of the Integral Group. He is a real estate developer who didn't just build buildings, he reinvented the concept of urban housing in America. In the 1990s, Atlanta was facing a crisis with its public housing projects. They were dangerous, dilapidated, and economically isolated. Egbert Perry saw an opportunity where others saw a disaster. He partnered with the Housing Authority to create Centennial Place. This was a revolutionary project. He tore down the old projects and built a mixed-income community. He put wealthy professionals right next door to subsidized tenants, creating a seamless neighborhood with high-quality amenities, schools, and recreation centers. This model was so successful, it became the federal standard for housing redevelopment across the United States. Because of this vision, the Integral Group now controls a massive portfolio of real estate assets across the country. We are talking about master-planned communities, transit-oriented developments, and commercial infrastructure valued in the hundreds of millions, if not billions, of dollars in total project capitalization. Egbert Perry's personal influence is staggering. He has served as the chairman of the board for Fannie Mae, one of the most powerful financial positions in the entire country. He sits on the boards of major corporations and has been inducted into the Real Estate Hall of Distinction. His wealth is intellectual capital, converted into real asset capital. He lives a life of quiet, powerful luxury. Unlike the entertainers who flash cash, Egbert Perry moves in the boardrooms where the future of the city is decided. His company is currently involved in the redevelopment of the massive General Motors assembly plant site in Doraville, a project that will create a city within a city. He represents the technocrat wing of the Black MECCA. He is the engineer who figured out how to make gentrification and community development profitable. But if Egbert Perry is the modern developer, our next family is the historic bedrock upon which modern Atlanta was built. Number 3. The Russell Family, the concrete dynasty. If you look at the Atlanta skyline, you are looking at the legacy of Herman J. Russell. The Russell family is perhaps the most important business dynasty in the history of Black Atlanta. Herman J. Russell, who passed away in 2014, founded H.J. Russell and Company in 1952. He started as a plasterer. He ended up as the man who built the Coca-Cola headquarters, the Georgia Dome, Turner Field, and major expansions of the Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. Today, the company is run by his children, Michael Russell, CEO, H. Jerome Russell, President, and Donata Russell Ross. They have successfully transitioned the wealth from the founder to the second generation, a feat that many families fail to achieve. Let's look at the scale of their operation. H.J. Russell and Company is consistently ranked among the largest minority-owned firms in the United States. They don't just pour concrete, they manage real estate, they develop affordable housing, and through Concessions International, led by Donata, they operate food and beverage units in major airports across the country. Their family seat is legendary. Herman Russell's estate in Collier Heights, a historic, wealthy black neighborhood, featured a 50-foot-long swimming pool where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. used to swim. It was the boardroom of the civil rights movement. Today, the children continue to expand the empire. Jerome Russell is heavily involved in the Russell Innovation Center for Entrepreneurs, RICE. This is a 50,000 square foot business generator gifted by the family to the city. It is the largest center of its kind in the country dedicated to black entrepreneurs. This is ecosystem wealth. The Russells aren't just rich, they are creating the infrastructure for the next 1,000 black millionaires. Their personal real estate portfolios are vast, with holdings across Atlanta. They move with the confidence of a family that knows they literally built the walls the rest of the city lives behind. The Russell family proves that true power isn't just about having money in the bank, it's about having your name on the buildings. But now, we transition from the old money builders to the new money land barons. Our next entry is a rapper who realized that land is the only thing they aren't making any more of. Number 2. Rick Ross, the land baron of Fayetteville. Most rappers buy a mansion. Rick Ross bought a zip code. While he made his name in music, William Leonard Roberts II, known as Rick Ross, has pivoted into becoming one of the most asset-heavy celebrities in the South. His residence, which he calls the Promised Land, is the single largest private home in the state of Georgia. Let's break down the numbers because they are staggering. The estate sits on 235 acres of land in Fayetteville, just outside Atlanta. The main mansion is 54,000 square feet. It has 109 rooms. It features a dining room that can seat 100 people. It has a 350,000-gallon swimming pool, which is the largest residential pool in the United States. Ross bought this property from the legendary boxer Evander Holyfield for a reported $5.8 million in 2014. Today, with the renovations and the explosion in Atlanta real estate values, it is worth multiples of that figure. But here is the global status twist. Rick Ross doesn't just live there, he monetizes it. He turned his front lawn into a revenue stream. He hosts the Rick Ross Car and Bike Show, a massive annual event where thousands of people pay hundreds of dollars for tickets to see his car collection and walk on his grass. He turned his house into a convention center. And let's talk about that car collection. Ross owns over 100 cars, most of them classic Chevrolets and luxury Maybachs. He has a garage that looks like a museum, but he didn't stop at 235 acres. He recently spent another $4 million to buy an additional 87 acres adjacent to his property, expanding his kingdom even further. His business portfolio is equally dense. He owns over 25 Wingstop franchises. He owns Checkers and Rally's restaurants. He has partnerships with Bel Air Rosé and Rap Snacks. Rick Ross is the ultimate example of diversified hustle. He took the cash flow from rap music and poured it into tangible, hard assets, land, franchises, and classic cars. He cuts his own grass, literally, to save money and keep himself grounded, but he lives in a palace that was built for royalty. He proves that in the new Atlanta, you can start as a correctional officer, become a rap star, and end up as a landed gentry. But even the promised land pales in comparison to the sheer, industrial-scale dominance of our number one spot. This is a man who didn't just buy a house. He bought a military base. Number 1. Tyler Perry, the sovereign of the South. We have arrived at number 1. The billionaire who redefined what is possible for a black creative in America, Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry's wealth is estimated by Forbes to be $1.4 billion. But that number doesn't tell the full story. The story is in the land. Tyler Perry owns Tyler Perry Studios, a 330-acre production facility in southwest Atlanta. To put that size into perspective, You can fit the studios of Warner Bros., Paramount, and Sony inside Tyler Perry's lot, and still have space left over. He purchased this land, which was the former Fort McPherson Army base, in 2015 for $30 million. It was the deal of the century. Today, that land is priceless. It is the only major motion picture studio in the nation owned by an African American. The studio features 12 massive sound stages, each named after a Black Hollywood legend like Sidney Poitier and Oprah Winfrey. It has its own replica of the White House, which he rents out to productions like The Oval. It has its own neighborhoods, a green screen building, and acres of woodlands. Marvel shoots Black Panther here. The Walking Dead filmed here. Every time a major studio needs a facility in the Hollywood of the South, they have to pay rent to Tyler Perry. But his personal lifestyle is just as astronomical. For years, he lived in a 17-acre estate in Buckhead that was so lavish it set records when he sold it. He sold it for $15 million to an evangelist, and it was later bought by Steve Harvey. This house featured a 70,000-gallon infinity pool and a ballroom underground. But Tyler Perry needed more space. He is currently building, and nearly finishing, a new massive estate near his studios that defies logic. Reports and aerial footage reveal a home that is more like a resort. It features a massive lap pool, organic farms for horses, and, get this, a private airplane runway in the backyard. Yes, a runway. Because when you are worth $1 billion and you own a private jet, you shouldn't have to drive to the airport. You should be able to fly directly into your living room. He also owns a private island in the Bahamas, White Bay Cay, where he built villas for his guests. He owns a mansion in Beverly Hills, which he famously lent to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle when they left the UK. His wealth comes from a crucial decision he made early in his career: ownership. He owns 100% of his content. Every Madea movie, every TV show like The Haves and the Have-Nots, every play, he owns the negatives. He didn't sell his rights for a quick check. He kept them. Now, he licenses that content to networks like BET for hundreds of millions of dollars. Tyler Perry is the ultimate manifestation of the Black MECCA dream. He came to Atlanta with nothing, sleeping in his car. He utilized the city's support for Black art to launch his plays. He reinvested every dollar into land and infrastructure. He didn't just ask for a seat at the table. He built his own table, in his own house, on his own 300 acres of land. From the funeral parlors of the Levetts to the airport franchises of Mack Wilbourn, and from the construction sites of the Russells to the sprawling studio lot of Tyler Perry, these families are the pillars of Atlanta's wealth. They prove that the Black MECCA is not just a nickname, it is a financial reality. They have built ecosystems that support thousands of jobs and generate billions in value. They have moved beyond being consumers of luxury to being the producers of it. They own the land, the buildings, and the businesses that make the city run. So, which of these empires impressed you the most? Was it the sheer scale of Rick Ross's Promised Land or the strategic genius of the Bronner family's beauty empire? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want to see how black wealth is exploding in other cities, click the video on your screen right now. You won't believe the fortunes being built in Houston, Texas. Subscribe for more deep dives into the world of hidden wealth. I'll see you in the next one.